Please consider subscribing if you enjoy our content and want to see more from us. INFJ is one of the 16 personality types identified by the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. Scoring as an INFJ means your personality type is best described as introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. Sometimes referred to as the advocate or the idealist, people with this personality type often feel misunderstood. Perhaps it's because they're the rarest MBTI personality type, making up only 1% to 3% of the US population. They're easygoing perfectionists, both logical and emotional, creative and analytical. We've made a list with the INFJ top 10 traits, so make sure to watch the video to the end to not miss anything. 1. Planning. You have a lot of creativity as an INFJ. On the other hand, if you haven't dealt with your anxiety or taken the necessary measures to establish healthy boundaries with yourself and others, this can be a formula for catastrophe. In social groups, you tend to be the overthinker. You're likely to foresee anything that could happen in the future. You devise strategies for resolving possible conflicts or overcoming difficulties that have yet to arise. While your vivid imagination can be advantageous to you as a creative type, it is all too common for you to become buried in your head and lose touch with reality. You may spend far too much time thinking about a problem without coming up with viable solutions. You could easily become engrossed and obsessed with how others act or what they think of you. This tendency to obsess over people might lead to fantasy relationships. 2. Dissociating from the tangible world to live in your own thoughts. INFJs are known for frequently running into poles or tripping over their own feet due to excessive daydreaming or deep pondering. Continually inward allows us to be focused innovators, but it can also isolate us from our local environment. There is real life, which we acknowledge. Then there's our elaborate, rich fantasy life, where we invent full-blown encounters, dialogues, and events that haven't happened, at least not yet. Which universe is truer? The answer isn't as simple for an INFJ. If you know an INFJ, they've probably already spoken to you. You are simply not present. 3. Reading emotions and absorbing energy. INFJs are natural empaths who absorb others' emotions. They have a gift for intuitively sensing people's emotions and comprehending social cues. In other words, they can tell the difference between what you say and what you really feel. Due to their considerable sensitivity, they are usually exceedingly sympathetic, generous, and attentive to others' needs. This renders them vulnerable to predators like narcissists. To avoid toxic relationships, INFJs should develop a radar for emotional con artists. However, this sensitivity also makes INFJs great healers, attentive to what others need in their own growth path. Teachers, counselors, and coaches can benefit from INFJ's emotional intelligence. They can inspire both personal and social transformation. How good are you at sensing other people's emotions? Leave a comment down below. 4. Keeping your guard up when seeking genuine interactions. INFJs are very sensitive people who often get wounded. So, they learn to be cautious when meeting new individuals or inviting strangers into their secret world. Since INFJs are quiet and restrained, they might look chilly and distant, especially when deep in contemplation. Few individuals get near enough to discover an INFJ's actual core. And when it comes to their loved ones, INFJs are devoted and emotional. They appreciate friendships and relationships with a depth and closeness that transcends superficial connections to a soul level. When you get to know INFJs more, you realize they are highly emotional and loving individuals. They are keen scholars and observers of human behavior, able to connect to what makes people happy. Your ability to connect with others on a deeper level is unmatched when your heart is guarded. 5. Using your instincts in a way that are almost always accurate. Your friends, family, and loved ones may label you psychic. And you are. INFJs have a sixth sense about events and people that goes beyond appearances. They may experience dreams, premonitions, or gut emotions that are later verified by unexpected life occurrences. They can usually anticipate events years in advance and have their finger on the pulse of what is about to happen. The INFJ must learn to trust their intuition early on. They must understand that their approach is significantly different from other, more practical personality types. 6. Cutting off toxic individuals. While INFJs may first struggle to set boundaries with toxic people, they all reach their limitations. The INFJ is famed for their door slam, which occurs when they feel violated by someone and no longer have the emotional reserves to endure any more of their crap. Although the door slam might be employed inappropriately, the INFJ who uses it usually has good cause. Remember that this type is highly cautious, therefore they have probably considered the benefits and drawbacks and endured many sins before quitting the connection or friendship. 7. Dislike insensitive people. This personality type dislikes blunt, emotionless people. Because INFJs are meticulous and overthink everything they do and say, it surprises them when others are oblivious, cold, apathetic, or outright uncaring. They are easily overpowered by bullies that treat others with careless ignorance or harshly. Of course, the exception is manipulation, which might display a softer sort of personality at the beginning, but eventually become harsh and ruthless. INFJs might find it challenging only because of the pain this unmasking shows from this sort of manipulation. 8. Disappear after a few days of social encounters. INFJs can be highly sociable and outgoing. This is really one of the extroverted introverted kinds. However, social contacts, even the most favorable ones, can rapidly drain their energy. You require time to absorb and digest social encounters in a unique way. It might disappear for days without contacting you or even physically present, look strangely emotionally detached. If this disappearance happens following a dispute, the retreat and relaxation of the INFJ are necessary. You will need time to chill, relax and reconnect afterwards. Don't worry if they vanish after a nice interaction. They generally take time to recall the happy recollections and digest them. In the majority, INFJs do not retire because they don't like to spend time with you, but because their self-care time alone is necessary. 9. Excessively structured and organized in some areas and neglective in others. You may meet an INFJ who in certain tasks is sloppy and unorganized, while in others is very accurate and meticulous. It is because your thinking and logic are closely linked to your intuition. They do impulse and, inspired by them, do things more than deadlines or regulations. Their main function is to know what works, what won't, and how they function best. They are visceral. A perfectionist naturally originates from an INFJ, so that in all parts of their life they are usually organized, characterized as being meticulous and obsessive. It is typical for an INFJ to spend days on a project while disregarding food or sleep, or for an INFJ to lose sight of its outer surroundings, causing it to disorder the living conditions. Workaholic INFJs are highly strenuous and excessively committed to their aspirations and objectives, frequently at the cost of social life or mental illness. 10. Switch between multiple personalities. Don't worry, one of their personalities will be here with you soon if you confronted an INFJ with difficult situations. You will see that INFJ is typically tightly wounded in a variety of circumstances. This complicated type contains many diverse identity aspects, many of which are mutually contradictory. You can notice an apparent scientific and reasonable interest in spiritual or even paranormal subjects shown by INFJ. Or maybe see an INFJ turn into an evil comic with a snap for filthy jokes. Do not be alarmed. The INFJ has not had some kind of personality transplant. These are only different sides of the same individual. INFJs have a rich interior life they don't typically share with others, therefore it is fascinating and illuminating to say the least when even part of their inner monologue is shared with the world. If the wildest parts of INFJ come out, understand that you simply received an odd puzzle piece of it. INFJs are hard to find, but that makes them so incredibly intriguing.